Good day, happy travelers. Seven Continents Travel Agency here today talking about Norwegian Cruise Line's port of call, Victoria, British Columbia. So if you're hopping on an Alaskan cruise or you are thinking of hopping on an Alaska cruise and you see that there is a stop here at Victoria, purpose of this video is to show you what there is to do, give you a high-level overview of what the excursion entails, including cost, address those with some folks in your party that have mobility concerns, as well as any noted height, weight, or age limitations. If you've been on my channel before, I lived in Western Washington, and I was about a 90-minute drive to Port Angeles, which was another 45 minutes, 60 minutes drive or a boat ride into the harbor of Victoria. But it's worth noting that if your cruise starts in Seattle or terminates in Seattle and you would like to spend more time here, there's actually a ferry boat from Seattle that will take you up here, the Victoria Clipper. So if you want to spend a little bit more time here, day trip, you could easily probably spend a day or two here. I've spent many days here. I've seen most of the stuff, even not on a cruise ship. It is a fantastic little city. I've always enjoyed my time here. But, all right, so if you're getting here in the evening, a lot of the stuff, you're coming down out of Alaska, and it's not uncommon to stop as you make your way back into Puget Sound. You want to see kind of an evening, beautiful city. They do a good job of lightening it up. I don't want to say it's like Disney World, but I'm not going to say it's not. Victoria is very famous for its gardens, evening highlights. And I think Norwegian has a great excursion option. We just did this review for Carnival. This wasn't an option presently going to the Bouchard Gardens. This garden, world-class garden. Just if you're a garden fan, recommend it. So anyway, $169 for adults, $109. Just a fantastic display. You can spend several hours there. 3.5 hours is the tour. But you're going to see Beacon Hill, the Columbia Museum. The whole waterfront is just absolutely, it's certainly worth a picture anyway. I like Victoria. I'm a big fan of it. Regarding mobility concerns, there's some walking, 1.5 miles. Most of that's in the garden. 150 steps, stairs, uneven terrain. That's because the garden's kind of wobbly there. There you go. This will be July 1st through August 19th. You'll be able to see some fireworks. So that's, as long as they're not in a burn ban. Sometimes it's dry there. Sometimes it can rain an awful lot. What about the Empress Experience? One of the key buildings on the waterfront there, next to, of course, the picture above was the Parliamentary Building. $99 for an adult, $79 for kids, 2 hours long, and in short, you're going to get taken into the Empress for a classical afternoon tea. And I think the reason I like going here is that you really kind of feel like you went to London. Like a mini London, like a very small London. It has that Victorian, it is Victoria, named after Queen Victoria. It has that Victorian feel. So those are the details there. Tour is available. If you have a wheelchair, this is able to accommodate that mobility concern. You want to start mixing up the garden and the Victoria highlights. 3.5 hours long, $159 for an adult, $119 for kids. There's the garden again, and here is the waterfront. And you can see there's shops here, right down here. There's a bunch of shops, buses taking over here. There's seafood restaurants more over here. Just like I said, can't wait to go back. I'll be in Seattle this summer for 2 weeks. Alaska cruise for a little bit, but I also am going to make an effort to go back. And again, here's the time. A lot of walking in the garden, but it's walking well spent. Then you got the Bouchard and the butterfly gardens. Just time spent. I'm terrified of butterflies. Little known fact to me: $149 for an adult, $119 for kids, and you're going to hang out. Well, gardens and butterflies. I don't really know what to say. That's it. The castle. We've been to this castle. I didn't even know it was something excursion worthy. It just got off the little ferry boat there, and I saw something that said, hey, let's go to the castle. So we walked to it. It was a little bit of a walk, probably a lot better for you to take the drive up. $139 for an adult, $85 for kids. Very, very cool. I don't know. There's a lot of history in there, and you get to tour the castle and the 39 rooms. So you learn a little bit about the history, why it was built. And then, of course, to and from, you get to see the scenic area of Victoria. The O Canada Highlights Tour, 2 hours and 15 minutes long, $109 for an adults, kids alike. Get a snack, and you get to see all the landmarks along the way. So if you want to see Victoria in a drive, you are in luck. Center of the Universe and Beyond, 3 hours is the duration, $149 for adults and kids. You are going to, there's an observatory, and you'll kind of get a glimpse of what's going on and that this thing is seeing in space. And so if you got folks in a party that like a little bit of science, yeah, this is a good one to get those who are interested in the space. How about a Victoria Highlights Tour, 2.5 hours long, $89 for adults, $59 for kids, and you are going to see all the items listed here that need to be seen. For evening, this may be conducted after dark, and they'll just show you the areas that are lit, with a 30-minute stop in the Inner Harbor to get some pictures. How about a walking tour of Victoria? $45 for an adult, $35 for kids, 2 hours long, and it's a walking tour, so make sure you are up to walk. The Parliamentary Building. I've not been in there since they changed the picture from Queen Elizabeth to the King Charles. Here we are. Victoria, don't want to walk, don't want to be in a bus. How about a horse-drawn trolley? In Carnival, there were some reviews about how the horses were acting rambunctious. $89 for adults, $69 for kids. It looks like the one review here gave it 5 stars. So I guess the horses were well behaved on this day. So you're going to see what there is to see via a horse. And here you'll get away, if you're into wineries and cider, you get away from Victoria, head up into northern Vancouver Island to see the wineries and the cider farms. $39 for adults and kids, 5 hours long. Walking tour includes 3 hours of easy to moderate walking. So just make sure you can do that. And if you're going to enjoy some of the wine, much like the United States, unlike the Caribbean, or much of Europe, you got to be able to 21. Got to be 21 or older to enjoy that. So this is Victoria, British Columbia. I will note that right here, if I zoom, there we are. So here is the cruise ship dock. Here's where you will be. And regarding the landmarks, you got the Empress right here. Got the Parliamentary Building, got the observatory, castles off here somewhere. But most of the shopping is right here, seafood restaurant. So if you can take a cab, you walk. It's not too long of a walk. It's just walk. You can walk down the waterfront, and you're not walking in like a level 4 risk area. It's a pretty, I didn't feel unsafe. I would recommend a cab if I'm being honest, but if you're interested in like a boardwalk stroll, it's doable. And if I zoom back in here, you see these lines. These reference the ferries that run from the Washington State into Canada, and one of them is the Victoria Seattle run. And I think that right there might be the Coho that runs. That's the car ferry between Victoria and Port Angeles, Washington. So if you really, really want to, I'm telling you, if you want to see some stuff, Port Angeles, Hurricane Ridge, the Olympic Peninsula in Washington, if you're already there, if you're already flown to Seattle or Vancouver, there's so many other things to see in the region on top of what this thing's showing you. So you can spend a lot of time here. And so I certainly hope you consider that. I live in Georgia, so it's not like I work for the Better Business Bureau or the travel industry. I'm just saying, so much to see, a really special part of the world. And I'm very grateful to be able to go back and spend a couple weeks out of the year. So I hope you found something you'd like to do. And until the next video, I hope you travel safely.